Iraq is at a crossroads, facing big decisions and even bigger challenges. Let's dive into what's making headlines in July 2024. First, the political scene is tense. Iraqi officials are pushing for a clear timeline for U.S. troop withdrawal, while the government led by Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is under pressure to deliver on reform, anti-corruption, and better public services. But deep divisions in parliament between Shia, Sunni, and Kurdish blocs mean that agreements on things like oil revenue and regional autonomy remain elusive. Security is another major concern. ISIL might have lost territory, but its cells are still active in the north and west. Iraqi forces conduct regular operations against them, but the threat hasn't disappeared. Iran-backed militias also wield serious influence, sometimes clashing with U.S. interests. Meanwhile, Iraq's borders with Syria and Iran are tough to control, fueling worries about arms smuggling and militant infiltration. On the streets, frustration is boiling over. Baghdad and southern cities are seeing new waves of protests over unemployment, corruption, and constant electricity and water shortages. Security forces have sometimes cracked down hard. Hundreds of thousands are still displaced from past conflicts, with many stuck in camps lacking basic services. The water crisis is growing. Drought, climate change, and upstream dams in Turkey and Iran are making things worse, especially in the south where the UN is warning of a possible water emergency. Economically, Iraq relies almost entirely on oil. When global prices dip, so does public spending, and that means slow progress on rebuilding war-torn areas like Mosul and Anbar. High youth unemployment is driving unrest and migration. Regionally, Iraq balances tough neighbors. Iran's influence is strong, and Turkey continues military operations in the north, targeting Kurdish groups and sometimes straining ties with Baghdad. Through it all, young Iraqis are raising their voices, demanding jobs, transparency, and a future. But journalists reporting on these issues face growing threats. That's where Iraq stands in July 2024. The country's future depends on tough choices, resilient people,